Hello, ladies and gentlemen, males and females, boys and girls, lads and lasses. I'd like to welcome you to the Alex Bloodfire live stream. Today's topic is gender ideology and its damaging effect on women, children, and, well, everyone. Because whether you want to admit it or not, gender ideology is having an impact on everyone's lives. There we go. So there's quite a bit of news on gender ideology as usual. Brilliant. Yeah. I did have a few questions that I wanted to answer, but I was very, very busy on the gender ideology front news, so I didn't get a chance to write those down. But lots of news, lots of positive news, and lots of good news that I'm going to bring to you. But yeah, please join in with the conversation, enjoy the stream, and welcome. Okay, first I wanted to point out in the last stream, I actually said, what does everyone think to Elton John pulling out of the 44 billion Twitter deal? I've laughed ever since. I did clarify it in a sentence afterwards because, of course, it was Elon Musk pulling out of the Twitter deal, and I'm sure that everybody realized Elton John wasn't pulling out, but perhaps they were, I don't know. I don't think anyone noticed, to be quite honest, which is really funny. But anyway, it's up there. Do you know what I mean? It was just a little bit of a tongue twisting wrong, mistake. But I just said Elton John instead of Elon Musk. Don't know why I did that. Don't know where Elton John came from, but there we go. So let me ask the question again, and please let me know in the comments. What does everybody think to Elon Musk pulling out of the 44 billion Twitter deal? And do you think that Twitter will win the court case they have filed against him? One thing is for certain, if Twitter pursue Elon Musk, as they are doing, it's likely we'll find out the real number of bots on Twitter, which could be, or which will be, very embarrassing for Twitter, because we all know it's slightly higher or severely higher, one or the other, than what they let Elon Musk know, and they won't clarify that information to him. So that's very, very interesting. There we go. So please let me know what you think in the comments. I would be interested to know your thoughts. The crowdfunder is still up for LGB Alliance. They are trying to raise nearly £250,000 to keep their charity status. Mermaids and their ilk are appealing against LGB Alliance's charity status, which I question whether a charity like this is allowed to do this. Are they allowed to harass a charity in this way? This looks like harassment to me, and I'm pretty sure that there is something in the Charities Commission handbook that says they're not allowed to do this. I think it's unlikely Mermaids will win, and of course, I will be questioning Mermaids' actions to the Charities Commission and our government after Mermaids lose this. It's something that I'm going to be bringing up. It's some complaint I'm going to be making. I don't think this is very funny what Mermaids in their ilk are doing, and I'm going to pursue it as well as a lot of people to find out if Mermaids are actually allowed to harass a charity like this. But it's costing LGB Alliance £250,000 just to keep their charity status. This must be very embarrassing for Mermaids. It really must be. But as they'll find that out later on. So please don't let a charity like Mermaids bully LGB Alliance. Please donate to the funder so that they can keep their charity status. The link is in the information below. Okay. LGB Alliance, incidentally, confirmed to everybody they were having a stand at a Lib Dem conference on Twitter. I think it was a couple of days ago. However, Mike Dixon from the Lib Dems, I'm not sure his position, that I haven't got it written down at the moment, but he tweeted this, which I find, which must be very embarrassing for him, but I don't think he'll see that yet. Maybe in the future he will. He said, "This is not correct. To confirm, you do not have a stand or a fringe at Lib Dem conference. I have checked with the team and there has been an administration error. Sorry for any confusion or inconvenience." I think, people were outraged about how Mike Dixon had actually approached that. I think it's disgusting. But I think in the future we'll see exactly why that's wrong. Many people might not see that at the moment. In the future they will. And I'm really appalled. In fact, I find that the tweet pathetic, Mike. Supposing the political party letting an organization know like this. You know, it's unprofessional, it's ignorant, and it's stupid. And it's stupid on the Lib Dems part. We won't, you know, many people out there will be thinking, oh, you know, what's he done wrong at the moment? We'll see what you've done wrong in the future when gender ideology is a lot more sorted, when gender ideology has been sorted out. You know, we'll see. An administration error, my arse. The lesbian and gay community won't forget what the Lib Dems have done. There's a lot of anger out there, but one thing is for sure, it's on record, Mr. Dixon. One good thing is for certain that I've found with the Lib Dems is thankfully there'll never be a government. You know, they might join another government, but they'll never be a sole government on their own, because the Lib Dems have shown time and time again they are incapable of leading this country. Don't count on my vote. I think the Lib Dems are very, very ignorant people. They owe LGBT Alliance an apology. I thought I'd got my mic off then, but no, it's on. And of course I near it, so it would be on, wouldn't it? Right. Okay, so being on Twitter over the last few days has again shown me what trans activists are like. In the last few days, I've been called a lot of childish names, and there's been much abuse hurled at me. Please do see the trans activists for what they are. They're not nice people, and support the people like me. Support the people like me who are campaigning for women's sport, to save women's sports, to save child safeguarding, to save single-sex spaces. Support people like us. You know, don't support trans activists who have. I mean, it's really, really pathetic what these people are doing. But we will see that in the future. We will see that a bunch of minority trans activists behaved in this manner. You know, we will see this. So, hey, there we go. Moving on to important news. Or I'm saying this is not particularly. Well, it's not particularly good. I mean, the Pink News and the online news magazine has blocked me on Twitter. They're reporting that Nadim Zahawi sparked Section 28 fears as he vows to protect children. Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. As he vows to protect children, that's what he's trying to do. Is there any proof that Nadim Zahawi has put out Section 28 fears? Because I don't really think he has in that at all. So again, it's Pink News and their gender agenda, which is pathetic. Right. So there's been another court case fighting against gender ideology. If you see a crowd, oh, hang on a minute, that's not right. Oh yeah, okay, I missed a little bit out there. Oh dear me, that's a very professional, is it? Okay, so we've got strictly Orthodox women taking action against opening the ladies' ponds in Amstead Heath, on the Heath, to transgender swimmers. That's basically males. I personally hope they win because I think there's a big confliction here. But these strictly Orthodox women, it's against their religion. I think it's very annoying, really, for the rest of us, that we've got to fight trans ideology with religion. We should just be able to say, you know, we don't want males in women's spaces, but unfortunately they are having to fight it with religion. So it's another court case fighting for gender ideology, like I just said. If you do see a crowdfunder for this important case, please bring it to my attention, because I'm not aware of one. I'd like to share it, and you know, I'd like probably to donate to it as well. So, you know, bring it to my attention. If I see it first, I'll stick it on my GETTR account. As we know, GETTR is better. I'm also on Twitter, so I will stick it on Twitter if I haven't been banned by then. Okay, but we'll see what we can actually do there. Yeah, so that's that. Right, so why am I? Oh, right, okay. Fantastic. Right, I think I'm ahead of myself there. I'm gonna have a little drink just to there we go. It's very hot today. The weather outside is absolutely gorgeous here in the United Kingdom. I'm in Nottinghamshire, at the moment. And I've been sat in the garden sometime today. I went out for a walk in the country and it's absolutely beautiful. So, you know, little hot for me. I'd much prefer it to be a little bit cooler, but, you know, it'll do. Hopefully the United Kingdom weather, it won't last. I usually see there's a couple of weeks hot weather in the United Kingdom, and then it'll all go pear-shaped, and then we'll have some vile weather. Unbelievable. But they reckon that on Monday it will reach record in the United Kingdom, record temperatures, you know, over 40 degrees. Brilliant. Okay. So J.K. Rowling, a wonderful woman, tweeted on Monday, I had an email from a social worker last year who wrote, they are dismantling safeguarding in front of our eyes. Indeed, they really are. I think we've been kind of seeing the dismantling of safeguarding in social work, children at school, children in brownies, children at scouts. I've reported about this on my channel and social media. I've shown the evidence of what to put forward. It's a very big concern what these people are doing. Trans activists are pushing crap as usual, and you know, they really are getting into our system. So please, what I'm saying is that, you know, if you're out there and you're on the sort of fence and you don't know what exactly which side of the fence to be on, you know, come over to the gender critical people. The trans activists are very, very nasty people. There are a minority. They're not big. They're not a massive community, but they really are causing problems in our society. If we don't do anything against these trans activists, what's going to happen is our society is going to be in ruins. So please do help us. You know, do help us. You know, if you can't speak out, you know, help support the people that do speak out. There's a lot of people out there that are really fighting this gender ideology, and it's wrecking our society. As I say, trans activists have done a good job of ripping child safeguarding to shreds. I've said this before. Why would they want to do this, and why would you want to let them? So if you can speak out, please do. If you can't, please speak. Please support the people that are speaking out. Don't support aggressive trans activists. By doing so, our children will lose out. Moving on. In Brazil, a trans identified male, that's somebody who's dressing up as a trans woman, I think it was a trans woman, has assaulted teen girls for advocating for single sex bathrooms. Okay. A video out of Brazil is showing a trans identified male student that is assaulting two classmates, and this is apparently going viral. The attack reportedly taking place. Let me start again. The attack reportedly took place in the girls' room, I think, which was expressing concern about males being able to access the female washrooms within the school. Again, I'm not really sure where that attack took place, but you know, but it took place somewhere in the school. So, you know, just to make sure that I clarify that. I think it's disgusting how these policies have been put in place for boys to just access girls' changing rooms, and we're not allowed to question that. If we say that boys, you know, who put a dress on or identifying as girls, despite that, you know, there's no sex change and gender change, should we say, because there's no such thing as a sex change, you know, and they just simply get access to girls' changing rooms, and we're transphobic by that. We're not allowed to say that. We're insulted for that. It's terrible. And this is what trans activists are trying to do. They're trying to stop us from complaining about simple complaints about girls, you know, about boys being access to girls' changing rooms. So please speak out or support the people who are speaking out. If you, again, yeah, so like I say, if you're disgusted like me, join the fight, you know, or support the people fighting, and let's put a stop to this pervertedness. It's mad, and it is pervertedness. You know, allowing boys in girls' toilets at school is perverted. You know, and these are adults that are doing this to get boys in our girls' schools. It's perverted. Yeah, totally perverted. So please speak out. and that's in Brazil. But you'll find that that's happening all over the Western world as well. It's not an isolated case. This particular incident did happen in Brazil. Moving on. An ex-trans teen has come out in support of the Florida rule blocking the funding of medical interventions. As you know, too many lives have been ruined. Detransitioners are popping up all over now. It's they're all speaking out. There'll be many more to come. The person that said that, and I quote, "I really didn't understand all the ramifications of any of the medical decisions that I was making." That's exactly what they've said, because they didn't understand what they were doing. They were young. They were naive. You know, children are finding their way. Do you know what I mean? And I know, you know, this is a teen. I don't know what time in their life, I don't know, as a child, I don't know when they transitioned. It was likely 15, 16, I don't know. I haven't got the details in front of me. I do remember reading it, but these people are very, very young, and we see more and more detransitioners that are coming out. It really is, you know, upsetting. It's terrible what we're inflicting on our children. And this is a young person whose life has been turned down because of an unscrupulous system, confusing our kids about gender, medicating them, and surgically interfering with them at a very young age. And this is what trans activists want. They're getting children who are naive, vulnerable, don't know what they're doing, and transitioning them. But it is backfiring. But the problem is, these lives are being ruined. These lives are being ruined from these people, from doctors, from the medical profession. This is a medical scandal, a big medical scandal that we're in right now. And we need to do something about it. We need to speak out. What's happening is cruelty. I'm in tears sometimes reading some of these articles. Please speak out or support the people that do. We can't allow this to happen, keep happening to our children. It is one of the, as I say, it's one of the biggest medical scandals of our time. It really is. And this is really a warning to parents not to transition your kids. It is. The information is out there. Please take note. The warnings are certainly out there. You know, take note of it. Really do take note of it. So we've got another detransitioner that speaks out. And after living nearly a decade of his life as a trans woman, Brian ultimately came to the realization his transition had been a big mistake. I keep hearing this time and time again from detransitioners that they just come to a realization to think, oh, wow, I've made a big mistake here, because you can't change sexes. You know, you can only really, you know, interpret yourself as being a woman. You can't be a woman. You know, if you're a man, you can't be a woman, and vice versa, you know. And these people are realizing that they were conned. These people are realizing that the medical profession have done them harm. They're realizing that this is wrong. So it's a message really to people out there that the warnings really are out there. We're seeing this more and more, and it's such a shame that this is the way we're having to see it. But please don't transition your kids. Wait till they get older. If they want to transition, they shouldn't be doing this as kids. You know, they should be doing this as an adult. They should be making that decision for themselves. The government shouldn't be making it. The teachers shouldn't be making it. You shouldn't be making it as kids. You know, as them being kids. They should be making this decision as an adult, you know. And I'm not really sure, you know, and there should be a lot more support around, which is very sad. So if you, again, I will say, don't transition your kids. You could be doing them more harm than good, likely in a lot of cases, and fight against the state being allowed to transition them for you. You know, the state governments are now trying to take this out of the parents' hands. You know, children are allowed a tattoo, but the state are trying to transition their whole gender. You know, it's crazy. I've never seen anything like it. I never thought that in 2020 this would be allowed to happen. And let's never forget that horrible trans activists, perverted trans activists, have pushed this. These are not nice people. These are damaging kids. So a lot of this information can be found on my GETTR stream. So please follow me on GETTR to keep updated on what's happening in trans ideology. It is important to you because things will get worse if we don't succeed in defeating gender ideology. And please subscribe to my channel so you know, you can receive alerts when I go live. I'm quite a new channel at the moment. I'm just trying to get established. Please subscribe, and you know, when I go live, you get the message. I don't always put this on social media. There we go. Moving on, we've got the US Republican Rashida Tlaib. Now, I hope I pronounced that right. Rashida Tlaib attacks the New York Times for providing a platform for transphobic hate and propaganda. What are New York Times actually doing? They're providing journalism of truth. They're telling it like it is. How is what journalists are saying transphobic hate and propaganda? Perhaps what you are doing, Rashida, is propaganda. Perhaps you're in the wrong. Do you consider this? Chase Strangio on Twitter has said they are trying to raise $3 million for trans-led work, which means appeal against the hundreds of safeguarding bills which have been put into place, many to protect children. One thing that I was concerned about is that Ariana Grande is matching up $1.5 million, whatever that means. Now, does that mean that Ariana Grande is going to pay $1.5 million to fight against these safeguarding bills? If that's the case, so is it true? Is it true, Ariana Grande? You know, are you matching up $1.5 million? And if you are, you know, are you listening and watching what is happening to our children? Women's rights, my rights, everybody's rights. Are you watching the damage the trans lobby are doing to our society? These cases are simply for safeguarding of children and people. You know, it's I find it deeply concerning. But don't worry, Ariana Grande. We are watching what you are doing. And I hope you're making the right decision, because if you don't make the right, if you're not making the right decision, which you may not be, this will come out in the future that you paid money to stop people from fighting against safeguarding. You know, you basically have paid money to stop these safeguarding cases, or to try and stop these safeguarding cases. You know, it's on you, Ariana. You know, let me know. Are you actually really going to put $1.5 million to stop these safeguarding cases in place? You know, you're fighting these. Just you know, it's these are safeguarding bills. You know, they're safeguarding bills which you are basically, you know, trying to ruin. If it doesn't work out, Ariana, we've all got all this on record. You know, I've got a copy of that tweet. We've got proof of what you're doing. If this doesn't work out and it turns out that you're in the wrong, which it may very well do in the future, this is something that you will have to answer for. This is something that will be on your record. This is something that people will know what you did. And as we've got more detransitioners coming out, as we've got a lot of changes that are going to happen to remove trans ideology out of society, we've got it all on record. Okay, so right, okay. There's a little story I just wanted people's opinion on. So I just wanted to really get to know, you know, what my viewers, do you call them viewers, or viewers, isn't it? What my viewers wanted. So in the US, in Wisconsin, a school policy of hiding gender identity from parents can continue, a court has found. So the Wisconsin Supreme Court ruled on Friday, which was last Friday, that a school policy allowing students to secretly change their pronouns at school could remain in place. Are you happy about this? Are parents happy about this? Do you think this is the way forward? Now, I know that this is simple, that, you know, look, I'm going to change my pronouns to she, her instead of he, him. But is that all it is about? I mean, if a boy wanted to call himself a girl at school and had his fact with his parents, should it be a problem? Well, is that all it is? You know, because to me, it's the damage that gender ideology is doing to pupils. You know, it's bearing in mind that this is not just a lad that's saying, "Oh, I want to be called she." This is a schooler involved in this. You know, the schooler of encouraging, perhaps, or, you know, but they're definitely involved, and they're doing this behind the parents' back. It's not just a boy that's writing different pronouns. This is a school that's backing him up. You know what I mean? Are you happy about that? Let me know in the comments. I mean, I know there are court cases in America fighting for much worse regard to gender ideology in schools, but are teachers happy that teachers can do this? You know, it's very, very odd. It's very strange, you know, that teachers are getting involved, you know, with people's pronouns. I mean, you know, if a lad wants to say, "Oh, I'm she, he," do you know what I mean? So what? Do you know what I mean? But the teachers are getting involved, and it's not ending there, is it? It's not just there's a lot of connotations what's happening in schools when somebody changes the pronoun. It's not just about pronouns; it's about the whole shebang, you know. And are we happy that teachers can actually say to parents, "Oh, I'm calling your boy or girl at school, and there's nothing you're behind your back, and there's nothing you can do about it"? I mean, yeah, no, I don't think that's very, very acceptable, to be quite honest. But you know, should our teachers be engaging in this behaviour? It's wrong, you know. So please, again, support people like me, you know, or speak out or support, you know, the people that are speaking out against this. We need to change this. We can't allow school teachers to be doing this behind parents' back. It's wrong. So before I go on, okay, I just wanted to say that I've got one of 3 paperback copies of my book up for grabs in a competition. And all I need you to do is answer the following question. What is 007's name? And just DM me that to my GETTR account. If you don't want a copy, you don't have to. But if you would like to win a copy, okay, just DM me to my GETTR account. I'm on Alex Bloodfire, and you could grab a copy of this great book. I'm giving 1 or 3 copies away. I'm giving 3 copies away, should I say. And it's Brock Steele Sphere. It's by me. You can enter from anywhere in the world. I will mail it out to anybody. And the book is only in English, so don't think it will be in your language. It's just printed in English at this present time. But I'll give you a little read of it so that you know exactly what it's like. So it says that Brock Steele knows his name and very little else. After a vicious attack in mysterious circumstances, Brock's memory has abandoned him. He has no idea why he's been hounded by a mysterious man with a gun, why bad things keep happening to the people he loves, and why are strange voices talking to him from the walls of his flat. When he's forced to go on the run to save his life, he has to decide who to trust, and making a mistake could be fatal. Can Brock find out who he is, why he's been haunted, and stay alive in the bargain? That could be yours. All you need to do is DM me the name of 007 to my GETTR account to celebrate their DMs. Okay, that's all you need to do. So you'd need an account on GETTR. DM me 007's name, and you could be in for a chance of winning. Okay, and that ends on midnight at the end of this month. Okay, so that competition's ongoing until midnight at the end of this month. Okay, so that's that. Moving on, in other news, Montgomery, now known as Katie Montgomery, was briefly suspended from Twitter yesterday. It caused quite a lot of excitement across social media platforms, but it was a brief suspension lasting only hours. I wonder how, I don't even think it lasted that many hours actually, but you know, it was a very brief. Unfortunately, women, gay men, lesbians, and men who Twitter have targeted for their gender critical beliefs are not so lucky, and their suspension range from days to months to permanent. We're not so lucky as Katie Montgomery. As it was. My lockout lasted over 6 months. I simply shared an article that for no apparent reason was targeted via trans activists. Twitter locked up my account because it generated a photograph. However, this was before they changed their rules on photographs, but they would They wouldn't listen. They ignored all my complaints because they don't appear to have a complaints procedure, and I was locked out for 6 months. Forced to accept a violation after 6 months for doing absolutely nothing wrong. My complaint against them still hasn't been answered. I renewed my complaint yesterday with regard to a link that I was provided, but I think it was more really rating their services, so it'll probably not get answered. Wow, you know, Twitter, come on. I mean, are you really going to do this to me? Are you really putting a violation against me? Why are you doing this to people? You know, why are you curbing our freedom of speech? Why don't you like gender critical people? Why are you sticking up for trans ideology? Why are thousands, likely millions of people banned from your site? You know, most for likely nothing, to be quite honest. Why are you doing this? You know, and why are you not answering my complaint? You know, but you know, the thing is, Twitter, it's on file. I've put it all over social media. You haven't answered my complaint. There you go. It's all on record. Okay. So moving on, a Berkeley law professor, sorry about the shake there, I just caught something. A Berkeley law professor, Kiara Bridges, I hope I pronounced that correctly, asked, do you believe men can get pregnant? And Senator Josh Hawley said, no, I don't think men can get pregnant. And Kiara Bridges replied, so you're denying that trans people exist? This was an abortion rights hearing. I know it's to do with pro-abortion and abortion. I'm not getting involved in the rights and wrongs. I believe in abortion. I believe women have a right to their bodies, you know. But I mean, the point is that trans ideology is getting into everything. I mean, men can get pregnant. Don't be silly. Look, if you're a trans man, you're a woman. You know, if you're a trans man and you want to be a man, do you know what I mean? What are you having babies for? Men don't have babies. So therefore you're a woman. It is that simple. The point that I wanted to make is that ourselves and vulnerable children are not allowed to say that men cannot get pregnant without being called transphobic. It's damaging to everybody. It's damaging to our society. It's damaging to everybody. You know, it's deeply concerning what's happening. We all know men can't get pregnant. We all know only women can get pregnant. And this is a scientific and biological fact. Even in law, it doesn't state that men can get pregnant, because they can't. We need to come out of this nonsense, because if this stays with society, it won't get better. It will get worse, and it will get much worse. Amnesty International. Now, this is an organization that I was a member of many years ago, an organization which I respected a great deal. They've certainly changed. They're not the Amnesty that I once knew. And Amnesty Ireland have insulted women again in a tweet, excluding the word woman. And it's done. I'll read you the tweet out. And it's done, they said. Now it's time to legislate to respect and protect and fulfill the human rights of pregnant people. This is a human rights group that are fighting for human rights, and they are excluding women in the name of what? You know, an ideology which, as we all know, is just rubbish, you know. But they're calling them pregnant people instead of women. There's only women who can get pregnant. We all know that. That's biology, that's science. I've never been taught any different. There's nothing in biology or science that states that a man can get pregnant. It's only women, so use the word woman. It's really insulting. It is women erasure, and this is Amnesty International, you know. Amnesty International have become a big embarrassment. It's really sad, the way that Amnesty International are conducting themselves. They're an embarrassment. They're not an organization that I would want to subscribe to in the future, and they need to change their ways. If you agree with me, and as I'm sure there are many people out there that agree that women erasure is definitely happening, please speak out and support the people that are speaking out. You know, there are a lot of people like me who are speaking out. There are a lot of people like me who are all over the internet. I mean, I've got a lot of social media sites. I'm dedicating my life at the moment to, you know, bring down gender ideology, because gender ideology will get worse. Peter Tatchell, what a shame what Peter Tatchell has become as well. But Peter Tatchell has published a letter in The Guardian, and it says, "My letter in The Guardian refuting the biology versus identity arguments of trans critics." I'm a trans critic, okay, so Peter Tatchell doesn't speak for me. And again, I'm going to say it's a real shame what Peter Tatchell has become. I did, you know, Peter Tatchell has done so much for everybody, really, but he's certainly come down in the world. You know, he's not. It's a real shame. So, what do we believe in? Science and biology, or silly identity crisis arguments? I mean, Peter's really making a fool of himself by doing this, and I don't think really, you know, the future is without gender ideology, or it will be if we can fight against it. Don't let people like Peter Tatchell win with this nonsense. You know, gender and, you know, identity is stupid. You know, he's silly, really, what he's saying, and it's a shame. But anyway, that's Peter Tatchell for you. I am aware about Peter Tatchell's letter to The Guardian on the underage sex as well. I'm aware about that. I didn't know about that at the time, actually. I didn't see that, but yeah, I'm aware about that. That he said now that he's retracted, but I mean, I'm not really sure that should have been said in the first place. And that was published. I think it was The Guardian. I don't know, but it was a newspaper that he published it in, saying that you know, not all underage sex is paedophilia, which of course it is. So there we go. Okay, moving on. Okay, so Wisconsin mums share their story of school administration sending them ceased and desist letters. Okay, so I'll just explain that two mothers from the Wisconsin area, or in Wisconsin, became very concerned about materials being used in their kids' classrooms. I mean, this is now happening all over the West and world. I mean, gender ideology is in schools, and a lot of us are becoming, not enough of us are becoming concerned. But anyway, these two mums are very, very concerned. They've said that they're silenced by the educational establishment. They're trying to silence them, as they do. I mean, anyone who speaks out about gender ideology has been silenced, but they are fighting back. Okay, which is really good. So Alexandra and Julia, two Wisconsin parents, have shared their stories of what led up to the school district sending them cease and desist letters, and you can see the details on my GETTR. So, you know, that is on my GETTR account only. I haven't put it anywhere else. So pop onto the GETTR account, read the story. It's a very good story. And I don't think I've put it on any other social media anyway, but it is on GETTR. So please, you know, have a look and have a read. Very, very concerning what is happening to our children. Okay, moving on, still in the US, the Los Angeles Unified School District are providing lessons plans that promote child transgenderism. This makes me physically sick. It really does, to think that our children are getting lesson planning, you know, on an ideology which could destroy their life. You know, I mean, we're seeing more and more detransitioners. This can destroy people's lives, and this is encouragement. And again, this is in Los Angeles. This is happening all over. I mean, trans ideology is in our school. We need to stop teaching children as young as 4 about trans ideology. It's confusing people more and more. This is why more and more people, okay, are becoming gender dysphoric. It's the reason. It's been taught in schools, but not in an appropriate way. People have been lied to, because gender ideology doesn't actually exist. Okay, you know, and that's why we need to remove this silly ideology out of our schools. Okay, so this is America's second largest school district. It's teaming up with various left-wing organizations to promote child transgenderism. The Los Angeles Unified School District, the AUSD. Yeah, they're the ones who have teamed up with the left-wing organisations to, you know, it's appalling. It really is. And you know, if you're going to if people aren't going to speak out, we're going to allow this to happen. More and more children will become gender dysphoric. They will be looking for, you know, puberty blockers, cross-sex hormones, and then they'll be going for the surgery to have amputated breasts, all the rest of the things that these doctors are doing, and finding out months later, years later, I've just made the biggest mistake of my life. There we go. So this is really scary times for vulnerable children. So I'm asking, please speak out or support the people who are speaking out. Right, so putting that in clarification, that just means that the school district will be confusing our vulnerable children with gender dysphoria. It's you know, it's causing more children to suffer from gender dysphoria. So yeah, I think I said that more children will be medicalized, you know, having the breasts amputated, all the medical things, and finding out that not only they've made the biggest mistake of their life, but actually you can't change sexes, and these operations are not perfect, as a lot of people are finding out. It's horrific. The US Planned Parenthood offers transgender hormone therapy to minors, apparently. Planned Parenthood is providing transgender hormone therapy across the United States, and certain locations is even serving minors who are attempting to change their gender. I mean, they think they're changing the sex, but again, people can't change sex. Biology is biology, you know. Every cell in my body is male. It will never change. You know, even if I put on a dress or take hormones, or it will never change. And that's the same with everybody. For males, it's males. For females, it's it will never change. You know, you're fighting and pretending to change genders, and it's, you know, far too many mistakes are being, you know, made. You know, and what I was going to say was the trans activists are fighting to get more and more people to change genders. It's a very dangerous thing, you know what I mean? And it's not fail safe. It's not. It's not good what's happening in our society. Right. So moving on. This quite shocked me actually, but nothing's shocking me anymore. I mean, this is disgusting. It's a real shame that the world has turned into this. But the World Health Organization have said that sex is not limited to male and female. Well, you know, I mean, you know, why are the World Health Organization gender guidance dismissing basic biology? I mean, there's fury across the globe. I mean, everybody's angry about this. We all know it's a load of bollocks. You know, we all know that this is absolutely ridiculous what the WHO are doing. So, I mean, this is such a shame, you know, that the WHO have bowed to gender ideology. And it's stupid. You're making fools of yourself. The WHO are making complete fools of themselves. So, you know, what I'd like to know is, why are the WHO coming out with this nonsense? What's the reason that the World Health Organization is coming out with this stupidity? We all know it's crap. You know, if it's like I've said, every cell in my body is male. How can it be any different? It's not. So, you know, why the WHO? I mean, is somebody paying you to do this? The WHO? Are you receiving any money? I mean, are you receiving any money from a transgender organization in order to come out with this crap? Because it really is crap, and people know it's crap. Many people across the globe, they know what you're coming out is crap, which is why there's fury across the world about what you've done. We know it's crap, but have you received money? Is this why you're doing it? Has somebody giving you money? You know. Why are you doing it? Why are you coming out with this stupidity? I mean, and can people out there see the damage that the WHO will inflict on our society by simply telling us lies and saying that there's no longer male and female, there's more? You know, what a stupid thing to do. And it really is. This is very damaging for our kids, really. But There we go. Okay, so if you're not speaking out against gender ideology nonsense, don't you think it's time you did? I mean, you've seen what I've said so far. Do you know what I mean? Is it time that you spoke out against all this silly nonsense? You know, and if you can't speak out, if you're not in a position to speak out, is it time you supported other people that do? You can contact your government department, you can contact your senator, you can contact this. You can, I mean, you know, you can donate to organizations. A lot of organizations setting up, and I mean a lot of organizations now are setting up to stop this crap. There we go. So will our vulnerable children be brought up now to believe that there is more sexes than male or female? This is a sad thing about this. You see, I know there's only male and female. You know what I mean? A lot of adults do. It's the vulnerable children who are being affected by this nonsense. And this is what the WHO are doing. This is what other organizations are doing. You know, they're trying to confuse vulnerable children. They're ruining our kids. You know, there's no wonder why so many people are suffering from gender dysphoria. They don't know who they are. You know, this has been inflicted on them. This has been inflicted on our society. It must stop. This stupidity needs to stop. Yeah. What will this mean for women's sports, women's rights, women's spaces, children's education, LGBT rights, my rights, everybody's rights? What does this mean if there's not just male or female anymore? And where is the evidence, the WHO? You know, I hope you're going to provide evidence to this. Of course, you can't provide evidence because what you're talking about is, I've said, bollocks. So there'll be no evidence that you're providing. But anyway, the WHO have obviously gone bonkers. So we need to expose and speak out about their nonsensical agenda. Idiots, you know, they're stupid. You know, they're preaching stupidity, but we must stop them, because if we don't stop them, where next? I mean, all this started was, I just need to have a, you know, for a transgender woman, as it was, that, you know, identified male, I just want to have a wee. Now look where we are. You know, we want to get males wanted to use women's toilets. Now look where we are. You know, we're fighting something. We're fighting an ideology that's destroying the entire fabric of our society. That's what's happening. Right, moving on. Okay, we've got the EU, the German self-ID is going to allow changing legal sex once a year. I mean, this is just, you know, I mean, it's silly. I find it's really, really, and all they've got to do, okay, they don't need any doctor, they don't need anything, just fill out a form. You know what I mean? Oh yeah, change. You know, be a woman now. Yeah, change your form. It's really sad that this is where our society has moved to. So please speak out. I wanted to read this from a mother, actually. This came from. I'll read what he said. Our severely learning disabled 16-year-old daughter is entirely dependent on others for intimate care. Nearly 2 years ago, a special school sent around a new intimate care policy, which had been ratified by its governing body. And I don't think I should have. Yep. Okay. Yep. And what this said is, okay, a decision has been made to remove cross-gender consent from the personal and intimate care policy, which is in line with legislation and guidance relating to equality and diversity. I mean, I don't know whether you know what that means, but that basically means that you can no longer say whether you want a male or female. I think that's, you know, it's really horrible. Do you know what I mean? And the mother continued, and she said, our severely learning disabled 16-year-old daughter is really entirely dependent from others for all care, including intimate care. And, you know, it's really wrong what's happening. You know, in my era, women could ask for a woman and men could ask for a man, you know, if they felt so comfortable. And the younger people, they definitely, younger men probably want to speak to other men. You know, older men are probably not that bothered, but they probably are. Do you know what I mean? But women don't really want men. Not all women want men in their intimate places. You know what I mean? And there should be a choice. this has been taken away from people. I think this is what J.K. Rowling was on about. She said, you know, a policy that could see trans carers, males, tending to our disabled young girls. You know, if we don't want a male tending to a disabled young girl, we should have that right to say no. This has been taken away. You know, J.K. Rowling said, "Do we value the disabled so little?" And I'm glad J.K. Rowling speaking out, but it's got a point. You know. Okay, well, I'm gonna move on because I've got 10 minutes now. I've got quite a few things to say, so I'm going to try and get it all in this session. So the left's alarming push to sever the parent-child relationship as the medical industry. Your child could, in the future, be getting gender reassignment surgery without your consent. Something that the left and trans rights activists have been pushing for quite a while. See what I mean about trans activists? I mean, everyone's saying, you know, trans activists support trans people, they support children. They really don't. They don't care. They're very aggressive, and they're going to ruin they're going to ruin children's rights if we don't stop them. And they've already got in there quite a lot. So you know, they're going to take that out of parents' hands. So if your child is being confused at school, is being indoctrinated that they're in the wrong body, you know what I mean, and that they should have been a woman or they should have been a man, you know, you're going to lose quite a lot, you know, so you're going to lose it. So it's, you know, so how would you feel though if your vulnerable daughter, yeah, you know, indoctrinated by gender ideology and had a breast amputated without your consent? I mean, you know, this is going to happen to children if we don't stop it. It's likely that you know it is going to happen, and this is very alarming. This parent's responsibility is being taken away, and it's really horrible what's happening. So please speak out or support the people who are speaking out. Should we really allow the medical professionals to harm our children in the name of gender ideology? Because this is what it is. It's in the name of gender ideology, you know. They're going to take that out of the right of parents. They're going to take the rights of parents away so they can, you know, send them through to surgery, which is really horrible. One thing I wanted to get on with is nearly 98% of British public surveyed want to keep single-sex changing rooms and separate toilets for men and women. That's 98%. So it looks like gender neutral toilets are going down the pan, and rightly so. We don't want gender neutral toilets in England. I'm not really sure they want them in the Western world, but we do need to fight because there is a trans lobby out there, a vile trans lobby that want to remove all female toilets because they say they're transphobic. You know, if you don't fight, you will lose your women's toilets. But that's 98% of the British public surveyed want to keep single-sex changing rooms and separate toilets for men and women. So they want male and female toilets. Toilets matter. Our women and girls deserve a safe space. Men do too, but women and girls deserve a safe space. You know, girls shouldn't have to share their toilets with boys at school, and it is happening. Right, I'm going to move on to the big topic at the moment, which is since Boris Johnson's tendered his resignation, I mean, obviously we've got the race for leadership now. So we've got 8 candidates that have been nominated and 2 have been kicked out. So Nadim Zahawi and Jeremy Hunt have been knocked out. So that leaves 6 candidates. So we've got Kemi Badenoch, we've got Suella Braverman, we've got Penny Mordaunt, who is the favourite to win apparently. We've got Rishi Sunak, Tom Tegeler. Sorry, let me start that again. Tom Tugendhat and Liz Truss. They're the ones that are left. Yeah, what do we think about that? Let me know in the comments. Let me know in my GETTR. Let me know on Twitter. Who do you think is going to win? Now, I am a Conservative member. I've supported Conservatives all my life. I've never really agreed with Labour policies, and I think I don't think really. I did vote once for the Liberal Democrats, but I can't see that ever happening in the future. And I do believe that I actually get a vote for the final ones. So please let me know who I should be voting for. I don't know who to vote for, but I am pretty sure that, you know, when we get the last, is it 2 or 3 candidates, that a vote comes out to all Conservative members and I get that choice. Let me know who to vote for. I'm not saying I will do what you say, and my vote will be kept confidential, so I won't discuss my vote, but I do want to listen to what people are saying. I mean, can we trust Penny? I mean, Penny is a favourite to win, to be quite honest. You know, so let me know who you think is the best candidate to lead our country. You know, because I may get I will get the vote. I'm sure we do get the vote. Yeah, so let me know. One thing is definitely certain in this leadership, that gender and the trans issues is certainly rearing its head. People are wanting to talk about it. It is a major issue in the United Kingdom, as it is all over the Western world. It is a major issue, but I really think it's very sad, very, very sad where we are now with gender ideology. It's very, very upsetting. I'll give you another reminder about my book. If you want to win a copy of this paperback paperback book, okay, of Brock Steele Sphere, it's written by me, Alex Bloodfire. I sold quite a few copies actually. It's a nice book. To celebrate the DMs on GETTR, because I took refuge on GETTR for 6 months while Twitter kicked me off the platform. Yeah, so what's 008? All you need to do is let me know 007's name is, the character 007. Just DM me. Don't DM me anything else. Just DM me that, and I'll let you know if you've won. Okay, and it's as simple as that. So yeah, that's an entry, and you can get a free book. It's pretty good book. A few people have told me they like to read it. It is still for sale. It's only a couple. If you want it to download, it's only a couple of quid in the United Kingdom. But I will. You can enter anywhere in the world. You only need to enter once. Okay, I'm only going to put 1 entries, and basically, I will send it to anywhere in the world. That's it. If you don't want to enter, you don't have to. If you want a free book, there you go. But just I mentioned that. We are running out of time, actually. Just one thing that I wanted to say is why is H&M making female customers feel vulnerable and unsafe with gender-neutral changing rooms? We've been on about that a bit. We really need to, females want the changing rooms back. Give them the changing rooms back. We are failing rape victims. Why are the vulnerable being sacrificed to indulge the entitled? Something that came up on one of the shelters, it was written in graffiti. This shelter was saying kill TERFs. Okay, and men really don't belong in rape centres in any circumstances. Males don't belong, is what I should have said, is males, full stop. You know what I mean? So it shouldn't really be allowed. So please join in the fight to get males out of rape centres and support the people that are. There is a lot of people fighting this. Please support them. I ask, please support them, because it will get worse. What are men doing in women's rape centres? Something's gone very wrong with us, the very fabric of our society. And next one, providers of sex education in schools teaching our young kids that prostitution is a rewarding job. This outrageous inclusiveness is overriding child safeguarding, and people and providers like this shouldn't really be doing this in our schools. Shame. Yeah, so pretty appalling. Last thing that I will mention is, did Linda Carter erase Wonder Woman from her bio? Apparently she did. She took it out of her bio. Any reason for that? Linda, I mean, I was a fan of Wonder Woman. My sister was a fan of Wonder Woman. She was a woman. I mean, is there a problem with her being Wonder Woman? I mean, does she have to be trans? Does she have to be bisexual? Can't she just be a woman as she was? There were no mention of that at the time. So, pretty appalling. Oh, right. Okay, so okay, I'm gonna close down now. I'm gonna shut the stream down now. But I just wanted to say, join me next Wednesday to discuss books. I'm going to be in the gender critical book section of the library. So can you bring your book recommendations for parents and children battling this unfortunate dysphoria, which, as we all know, is being brought on by schools? Okay, indoctrinating our children with gender ideology. Yeah, to confuse them, really. So, if you've got any book recommendations, gender book recommendations, let me know. I don't know how we ever allowed this to happen to our vulnerable kids, but please join me on Wednesday, the 16th at 7 p.m. Turf Island time for more news, lots of things I've been posting on my social media, and GC book recommendations. What books would you recommend that the parents read, okay, in order to understand their children's gender dysphoria. Okay, and I'd be interested to know about all the gender critical books. Well, that's it from me. Thank you for joining me, and I hope you have a really, really good evening and enjoy the weather. Bye.